But, Mr. Sylvester, this certainly raises a lot of concern because there are questions as to, in 2 hours, if they get back to them, who knows? Are they going to continue with elections or will they countermand the elections and continue tomorrow? What do you think?
Well, first I'd like to express my sympathy for these young Nigerians who offered to serve as ad hoc staff during this exercise, and to see how dehumanizing INEC has decided to treat these citizens is unacceptable. And that exposes them to the manipulations of the political actors. Because if something as meager as it were, as 10,000, 13,000, is a problem for INEC, imagine a politician who is aware of these can easily compromise these individuals, and that is why you can't in any way remove INEC from the picture. Because
Ms. Okoye did tell us earlier today about the same subject matter, that INEC is not directly responsible for the payments, that the NYSC need to make it clear to the youth corps members the decision that has been taken, that NYSC don't, I think if I remember properly what he says, don't directly give them that fund, that if the money is with the CBN, and then NYSC needs to pick it up and ensure that they receive them. So how do you
but if you are the elections management body, the whole process is your responsibility. So even though you have stakeholders, partners in the process, you are the umpire. So you see to it that from the start to finish, that everything is working out well. INEC should have known. And there were complaints. You heard the young folks, how they had engaged. INEC knew quite well that there was a problem. What did they do? Now, INEC is saying, we'll get back to you. So what is INEC going to do? So we really need INEC to provide answers to these questions, really, because we can't imagine the answers. We want to know, as at almost 12 noon, voting hasn't commenced, when in actual fact, voting is supposed to end at 2 p.m.
Doesn't this also underscore the cumbersome nature of our elections on the one hand, and then the complexity of the functions that INEC has to perform?
No, I disagree with due respect. It's not about the cumbersomeness or the complexities of the functions INEC has to perform, because this is an election we have prepared for. We had 4 years, about 3.5 years to prepare for these elections. And this is INEC's plan. INEC came with a plan, they came up with a plan, how much they needed to prosecute this election, and everything they asked for was made available. So we can't come back and talk about cumbersomeness. The plan, as it were, was designed to mitigate this situation, these circumstances, to ensure that we didn't have what we are experiencing right now. And this is my concern, that 20 years of democracy, we had elections in 99, we had elections in 2003, 2007, 11, 15, and in 2019. And in between, we have had staggered elections. And if this is what we can deliver to Nigeria, after 20 years of democracy, it leaves much to be desired.
Gentlemen, we still have Chima Amadi, who is of the Center for Advocacy and Transparency. He's in our studios in Abuja. Mr. Amadi, I'm not sure you saw this particular scenario coming. What do you make of this whole process?
I want to align with my colleague in the headquarters studio in sympathizing with these young ones with regards to what they are going through in service to their fatherland. But I also want us to properly situate what is happening here in terms of the scope. So that it's not good to create an impression that there is a nationwide lockdown or siege by the ad hoc staff. What we are seeing here, we've seen reports from your correspondents in many of the states. We've seen Kano State, in Benue State, Taraba State, where voting is going on normally, and ad hoc staff are conducting themselves well. We've not had issues of being owed. So that means that for whatever has gone wrong administratively, it's even in Lagos, there are places where we've seen Jimmy Agbaje of the PDP vote. That means whatever is happening here is it's an administrative issue in a particular area. Don't forget that INEC is a deconcentrated organization that works through mechanisms. Somebody has to be held responsible for not handling this issue of these young people very well. Somebody, because if you also listen to Shenwi, your correspondent there, he was talking about some people saying, oh, we have been paid, others say we've not been paid anything. Somebody was responsible for this administrative lapse in that particular area, or in places where young people that have rendered service. And let's be honest, whatever these young people are asking for, it's not even up to the national minimum wage that cannot be accounted for. So somebody has to be held responsible for bungling this up or for not communicating effectively. When you listen to the INEC officials, and we have reached out to someone to understand what is happening, they tell you, oh, we have made this payment to the NYSC, we've made this payment to this place and that place, we expected this to be communicated. Somebody has not done his job very well. And we should not let this be swept under the carpet. We should make sure that whoever was responsible for this show of shame in that particular RAC center should be held responsible and dealt with. We must not condone such things. It must not happen in a day like this. Yes, if we are looking at the immediate cost, we also have to look at the remote consequence of what is happening. Don't forget, my colleague there was saying, we had 4 years to prepare. Yes, at the end, but elections will be over today. And immediately election is over, you have 4 years notice that in 2023, there will be elections. But then, let us not forget the back and forth that went in through budgeting. How the budget almost became a thorny issue. Money was not released to INEC just about September. I mean, in December. It was in December that this money was disbursed to INEC. Between December and now, you now have to begin to pay vendors. This reflected in what happened 2 weeks ago, where INEC, because some vendors were paid so late, they could not even deploy properly. We also look at the issue of development challenges, where because we do not have some of these things in our country, you have to import. So it is also a lesson for everybody across the board. We cannot begin to treat everything like the Nigerian way, the so-called fire brigade approach. No, there are certain things you cannot treat with fire brigade, and this is one of it. It is a lesson that has been taught. People must learn the lessons. Whatever we need to do to make sure this doesn't happen, funds released when it's due must be done.
I'm sure you also saw correspondent Loretta Chiogo in Anifowoshe here in Lagos when she said that the issues are being resolved. As a matter of fact, did it come to you as a surprise when I think that would be one of the INEC officials there, was actually having the core members, the ad hoc staff, signing to collect monies physically out there within that classroom? What do you make of that situation?
Look, what you saw there, what your correspondent reported, perhaps is an INEC official being proactive to say, look, there is needs, these people have to be paid. Whatever complaint there is, the show must go on. Elections must go on. And if what it takes to make these elections go on without unnecessary delay is to dip hand into my pocket or my out-of-pocket spend money to give to these people, later this thing can be sorted out. That was what that person was doing there. And like we said, it is important that these things are resolved so that they don't also run into the hands of political actors who want to take advantage of the situation. Was it the proper thing to be done at that point in time, administratively due process? No, it was not. But something had to give. If you say you want to follow process, there will not be elections today. We need to conclude elections today and move ahead with other things. However, having said that, and like I said, let us not create the impression that in the 7 states of the Federation plus Abuja, that there's a lockdown by ad hoc staff, nobody's being paid. That's not true. There is something going on in Lagos. Somebody somewhere was responsible for this. INEC needs to investigate this. Let us know who did not communicate effectively. Let us know who did not sign papers. Let us know who did not order transfers. And when that person is found, the Nigerians should know that that person was found, and the person will be dealt with administratively. However, going forward, if something has to be done, whatever is being done right now must be something that is perhaps also ad hoc in nature. Maybe funds are being raised somewhere to address this issue so that these people can deploy. The meetings we are being told is going on now.
Yeah,
it's perhaps meetings on how to raise
all right,
money.
Mr. Madi,
You
know, at the moment, I mean, the reports that came through, even when the question was put to Mr. Okoye, we were specific. The reporters reported that scenario about Lagos. I'm not sure anybody has said it's the entire country or anywhere else. But we'll come back to this in a moment. Stay with us.